This video is to explain area formulas when you have composite figures, how to divide a figure into shapes that we know the area formula for, and then to be able to use the formula to find the area of those shapes. So looking at this first figure, we have a local pool and a rectangle with two semicircles. That's what they tell us that we should divide it into. They tell us we have a rectangle with two semicircles. So if we draw another dotted line on this side, we can see that this side and this side make a circle. And then, so we've got these two sides form a circle. And then what we're left with is a rectangle. So there's the rectangle and the semicircle that or the two semicircles that we're talking about. So two semicircles with the same diameter, because the distance across the circle is the diameter. Two semicircles, which just means half circles with the same diameter, would form one full circle. The area formula for a circle is pi times r squared. The area formula for a rectangle, I would write these notes down. A circle and a rectangle has an area of length times width. So if I wanted to find the area of the rectangle, I would do the length, which they give me the length with this measurement here, 100 meters times the width, and they give me that width with that measurement there, 52. So the rectangle has an area of 100 times 52, which is 5,200 centimeters squared. Now, when we look at the circle, from this point to this point is the distance all the way across the circle. That's called the diameter. The diameter of the circle is 52, and we know that the diameter is 2 times the radius. The diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So if the diameter is 52, we have to divide it by 2 to get the radius. So the radius is 26. Now I can use my formula for the area of a circle. Pi times 26 squared. With order of operations, you have to do exponents first. 26 squared is 676. 676 times 3.14 is 2,122.64 meters squared. This was meters, not centimeters. All right, so now we have two pieces. We know the area of the rectangle and we know the area of the circle, which is two circles on either end. And now we can add to get the entire area. We would add our two pieces together, and we would see that the area is 7,322 and 6,400 meters squared, approximately, technically, since we had to use pi to estimate our answer for the circle. Okay, so that is discussing the composite figure where you can divide it into a rectangle and two semicircles. Two semicircles makes one full circle as long as they have the same radius and diameter. Let's look at another example of a swimming pool. So here we can see that we have 12 by 12. This 12 by 12 right here is a square. The length and the width are both 12, which means the length and the width, all the sides would be equal, which makes it a square. And we multiply length times width to find the area of a square or the area of a rectangle. So the area of the square is 144 feet squared. Then let's pull off this top part where it says that the base is 6. This is a trapezoid because it has two sides across from each other that are parallel, and then these two slanted sides that are not parallel, making this a trapezoid. The top base is 4, the bottom base is 6, and then this dotted line tells me the height. Anytime we talk about height, the height and the base have to form a right angle. So this dotted line is showing us that the height is 3. So the first base is 4, the second base is 6, and the height is 3. And that's looking at the trapezoid on top. So the formula for a trapezoid is area equals 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2, so the two bases, times the height. So if we use the numbers that we were given, we would have base 1 plus base 2. The two bases that are parallel is 4 plus 6, which is 10, times the height, which is 3. And then we have to divide that by 2, or take 1/2. 10 times 3 is 30. Half of 30 is 15. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So the area of the trapezoid is 15 feet squared. So now we can find the area of the whole figure by taking the area of the two pieces that we came up with and adding them together. So 144 plus 15 gives me 159 feet squared. Here's another example. And here we have what appears to be a rectangle with a piece cut out of it. And when you have these types of problems, you have lots of different options for how you want to divide it into different rectangles. You can divide it into smaller rectangles that you know the length and the width of and find the area of each one. Now, we could go through and label every single side length too, because they've given us enough information to do that. So for example, if this side is 8, then the side opposite that is also 8 feet. Then we have this small section here. If this small section here is 3 feet, then the section opposite that is also 3 feet. And then if you look left to right, the sections that are left to right, 3, 4, and 4, you can almost think about it. If you moved that 4 up here, you would have this entire side length here. So 3 plus 4 would give me the length of this side length, because it's all the segments from up here, 3 plus 4 plus 4, which is 11. So now you can divide it up however you would like to be able to come up with the area. So I'll just do one example. Let's say we make this a rectangle here, a rectangle here, And then that would leave me with a rectangle in the middle. So let's look to see what would our dimensions be. This rectangle here. So if we're doing this big rectangle here, you have to make sure you use the length of one entire side, 4, and then the length of the other entire side, 8. Notice how it helped that we already had written those measurements down. So 4 times 8 is 32. So we know this rectangle on the right-hand side has an area of 32. And we divided it into 3 rectangles. So now let's look and see what's the area of this middle. We know this is 4. Well, we did not find this length. We don't know what that length is, but we can easily find it because 3 plus whatever this is has to add up to this total distance here. So 3 plus 5 equals 8. So then that would be 5 times 4, which is 20. And then you're left with this last rectangle that has the top of 3 and the left-hand side of 8, and 3 times 8 is 24. So we add up those 3 rectangles, 24 plus 20 plus 32